Very good morning, kids. Today we are going to study chapter number 11, Ride in Space. Before starting with the chapter, let us discuss the aims of the lesson. To gain knowledge about spacecrafts and traveling in space. To know about different Indian astronauts and their contribution. Now, let us see new terms of the chapter. First word is space, beyond the atmosphere of the earth. Spacecraft, a vehicle used to travel in space. Space shuttle, a rocket launched spacecraft. Space station, a satellite used to house astronauts in space. Okay, now my dear kids, we are going to learn about space first. A space is an empty, blank, infinite area where the stars and planets exist. Sky at night appears black blanket dotted with stars. We all are aware about it. Whenever we see in the sky at night, what do we see? Yes, it is completely black and stars are visible to us. With the development of rockets and the advance in electronics and other technologies in the 20th century, it became possible to reach the moon. Now we all can travel to space. We can visit moon, right? But before that we get trained, right? We need to take the training for it. Without training, it is not possible to go in space. Now the question arises, how we can travel to the space? For that, we need to learn about some of the history. The space age began in 1957 with the successful launching of Russian satellite, and the name of the satellite was Sputnik 1. Then Sputnik 2 was sent to the space carrying Russian dog Laika. It was the first living being to go into space. Yes, a Russian dog Laika was the first living being to go in space. It made the journey of 7 days. Then we shall discuss about the most favorite topic of ours, that is moon. How we can travel to moon? Of course, with the help of spacecraft. First, an unnamed spacecraft, the US Ranger 4, was sent to moon. Later, the Apollo spacecraft carrying the first man to moon started its journey. It took about 3 days for a spacecraft to reach the moon. So in how many days you can reach moon? Yes, only 3. And do you know who was the first man to reach moon? No? Okay, I'll tell you. On 20th July 1969, Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin traveled to moon in the space shuttle Apollo 2. They became the first human being to walk on the moon. Now, if someone is going to ask you who is Neil Armstrong or who is Edwin Aldrin, you can easily tell them they are the first man to reach on moon. Okay, again the question I am going to repeat. How we can go to space? Yes, till now we came to know that we can reach space with 2 things. First is we need to spacecraft, right? And second one is we need space suit. They both are very, very important to go in space. Now, let us discuss about spacecraft, or else I can say space shuttle. A space shuttle is a spacecraft which carry astronauts to the space. It could carry up to 7 astronauts at a time. The space shuttle is like a science lab where astronauts do experiments. Okay, this is how the space shuttle look. You can see the upper part, that is in brown color, is known as external tank. Next is solid rocket booster, which gives speed to the space shuttle. And one more part is there, orbiter. These are some of the main parts of space shuttle. Now let us see about space suit. Space suits are very, very important for astronauts because without it, astronauts cannot breathe in the space. There is provision of emergency oxygen, life support, gloves, remote unit, neck ring, etc. Now, let us see examples of few more astronauts. The first Indian to go in space was Rakesh Sharma, who was born on 14 January 1949 at Patiala, Punjab. He went into space with 2 Soviet cosmonauts in the space named Soyuz T-2. Now, let us discuss about first Indian woman to go in space, and she is Kalpana Chawla. The first Indian woman to go into space was Kalpana Chawla, who was born on 1st July 1961 at Karnal, Haryana. She was married to an American, therefore she is called Indian American. Her space mission began on 19th November 1997 as first of 6 astronauts crew that flew the space shuttle Columbia flight STS-87. I hope you all must have heard about Sunita Williams. Sunita Williams was the first Indian lady who lived in space for the longest time. She herself has explained the experience. I hope you all must have heard about Sunita Williams. Yes, Sunita Williams was first Indian woman to make a record of living in space for more than 6 months. This was the longest time period when a woman have stayed in space. She herself has briefed her experience of living in space. She told that they could not sit at one place. They kept floating in the spaceship from one end to another. Even water doesn't stay at one place. It floats around as blobs. To wash their face or their hands, they had to catch those blobs. They have to eat differently, they have to sit differently, they have to walk differently. In fact, they cannot even walk. They have to float every time. They need not to comb their hair, as their hair keep on standing every time. So it was great fun for them to live in space, but differently. I hope this chapter is clear to you. Thank you.